Hello, and welcome to the 6th Kerbal Space Program video. Now, today we have a bit of an issue. Last time we had a contract, which is to get to the moon and land on it. But the issue was, we were struggling to land on the moon. The rocket didn't have enough fuel, nowhere near enough fuel, and honestly, the rocket was pretty tall, which made it very difficult. Which then leads me to the problem. How do we get to the moon? The rocket we tried to get to the moon with was the 5B. Wait, I think these rockets are like the exact same. I think one of them just has struts in them. Nonetheless, we tried to get there with the 5B, which is our flagship rocket. It is the best one we have. Can go the furthest, but yet it was still not even able to get us near the moon. Which then leads me to figuring out, how do we get closer to the moon? I mean, we really cannot do a ton, because we've done a lot already. I mean, we have boosters that are pretty tall. It's technically a 4-stage rocket, but I feel like something that might be worth trying, and I doubt this will work, is just going on, taking 4 not boosters, but fuel tanks over here. Something like this. Now, of course, before we do this, we will need to test the rocket, getting it into orbit, but at this point, I think this is our only option, because we are really struggling, and I don't think there's really any other way to get to the moon. So now what I would like to do is just test the rocket quickly before we tilt over. Now, it wasn't really a successful launch, but because we did crash at the end, which we also lost our Science Junior, and our Science Junior had given us 22 research points, simply just for observing the material in it while re-entering the atmosphere. So, that is something I would 100% like to repeat and do again, because 22 research points is a ton. So I am just going to launch another rocket. It's not going to be the same rocket. It's going to be a cheaper rocket, smaller rocket. And I am just going to do it again, because that is a lot of research to miss out on. Now, we didn't get the full science because I did do the experiment a little late, but I did make a few changes to this rocket. I did kind of shift around where the tanks were, and also something I'm noticing is as long as you collect the experiment, you don't actually need the Science Junior on the main stage. So, I am actually going to move it below. And again, as it is a heavy unit, this is going to be a change that is going to be pretty beneficial. And as we can see, we should still have enough fuel to be able to get into space. Staging sequences are correct, and I think we can name this rocket the RLV-4C. And the reason I'm doing this is because if we look at the other rocket, it's nearing half of the price. So, now what I would like to do is just launch this rocket. Well, actually, something else we could do is probably switch out the engine because the fins will still give plenty of control. So we will use the Reliant engine instead, which again should drop off a little cost. It is a more fuel-efficient engine, and it's lighter too. So now I am just going to launch this rocket with a goal of re-entering the same and seeing what happens. Once again, we're hit with another failure. Now, when building this rocket, I did not realize that the thrust to weight ratio would be so bad, and we really weren't able to take off very far off the ground. So to counteract this from keeping on happening, I feel like just putting some boosters might be the fix. Just 2 solid-state boosters that are also, like the goal of the rocket is, to be cheap, and hopefully should help. But I'm also noticing at this point we do have a good amount of research. So I will probably, after I finish building this, go over to the research and development area and check if we can get anything that would be helpful. Now, as we can see, we have 85 research and development points. And over here, we can see that there are quite a few parts that would solve quite a few of our issues. I mean, we have the fuel duct, or just a fuel line, essentially. We have a drain valve, which would have been useful on our plane, and we have much wider parts available to us. Now, I do believe we do have a separator that is this wide. And over here, there aren't a ton of parts we could use. A few of these parts would be useful, like the bigger landing struts, but then again, we will be able to survive without them. And the space exploration also, I'm not sure we really need that at this point. The adapter, also not really necessary. Electrics might be useful eventually, but again, not super useful because, yeah, we could technically put a satellite in orbit, but we don't really have a use for it. But also, we need just 5 more research points, and then we can pick any one of these. But again, we need 5 more research points. So, I am going to launch this rocket once more, try to re-enter, this time opening the Science Junior on time and getting a lot of research points. I might just be the best rocket maker ever. Nothing ever goes wrong. Ever. Not once. It's never gone wrong. On the bright side of our rocket crashing and burning, for probably like the 5th time this video. We now have over 90 science, which means we can head right on over to the research and development area and research fuel systems. Now, it seems like we've already lost 50,000 money in this video, which is not great good by any means, but it seems like we have quite a few new parts to work with. And this, my friends, might be what helps us get to the moon. Now, I said last time, we are not taking another manned rocket to the moon, because Jebediah didn't make it. I mean, we reverted the flight, so we still have Jebediah, but Jebediah wouldn't have made it. So, never again are we doing that. This time, though, I think we can make a more solid foundation, and we can use better parts. Now, this probe isn't looking very aerodynamic, but that is not going to be the end of the world, as we will hopefully, maybe, be able to place some aerodynamic materials. Alright, I have created this monstrosity of a rocket. Now, the only thing I do not understand about this game, I mean, the top isn't horrible, it's pretty bad, but it's honestly not horrible. But I just do not understand, like, if I put a smaller engine, I'd just want a smaller engine. Why do you have to, like, shrink the bay if there's a smaller engine? I put the full-sized, decoupler, but it still insists in doing this. Nonetheless, the rocket should be ready. I hope everything goes to plan and works and everything flies and we get to the moon and it goes great. But I'm doubting that's going to be the case. Now, there is no SIS model and there's no pilots, which means we're gonna have to fly this rocket completely by ourselves, which that's not going to be fun, but we have to go through it anyways. nothing, and I mean nothing, is going correct today. I mean, I want to hope that we can get the vehicle into orbit with a few simple changes. The first change, switching every single engine on this rocket to be a swivel engine. Apparently, Reliant engines are not very reliable for turning your vehicle. The next change is also changing this one, because again, oh, that is a swivel. Okay. Save the plane, or save the rocket. I'd also just like to point out this rocket cost 40,000. We now have lost almost 100,000 money. What is this value? What is it called? Anyways, we've lost almost 100,000 of it, and we are about to probably lose 50 more. So we are going to launch the rocket again. Anyways, that's the end of this video, and I really want to thank you for watching through the whole thing. It really means a lot. In the meantime, if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them down below, and have yourself a great day.